Thought Media Network is proud to present Cosmic Prayers, your weekly shift, Mondays at 11 Mountain Time, with your host, Laura Topper. The Cosmic Prayers, live from the UK. And now, here she is, Laura Topper.
Morning. Just had to unmute there. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's so great to be here with you right now on the Cosmic Prayer. If you're here watching live, joining me and my amazing super guest today, then you are on New Thought Media Network, which is just an incredible ministry and, drop my mouse, platform. You get me real and raw here. Ministry and platform where so many of these incredible broadcasts are brought out to you to inspire you to use spiritual practice and the practice that we know as New Thought practices and science of mind practices. And that's what we're all about here on the Cosmic Prayer, definitely inspiring you to tune in to the truth of who you are. And prayer is such an incredible way that you can do this because it's beyond a practice. It's a way of living using prayer, especially spiritual mind treatment. And I know that our guest today, Reverend Lisa Williams, is an absolute art. She's just a joy. I'm just so pleased and excited that she has said yes to joining the show, which is, by the way, the 53rd show of the Cosmic Prayer. I'm like, oh my gosh, so excited. So Reverend Lisa, thank you for saying yes and being here. You have your own show here on New Thought Media Network, Ignite Your Inner Dazzel. If anybody gets to see that or has seen it, you will know that Reverend Lisa Williams definitely ignites your inner dazzle. And she's a wedding officiant, an experienced wedding officiant, has actually performed many weddings for people, joining and uniting hearts in that beautiful ceremony. And that's such a joy, and has her own coaching and transformational coaching business, and is a motivational speaker and a reverend. And welcome, Reverend Lisa, to the Cosmic Prayer. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. And it is definitely a joy to be with you as well. You're just so wonderful, Laura, and all the programs and wonderful messages that you are sharing around the world too. We're just so blessed to have you here at New Thought Media Network. So,
oh wow, that's so kind of you.
Yes.
I love being here, and I love it that I get to speak with people who are inspirational, who inspire me, and you inspire me. And it's no coincidence, that you have a broadcast here on New Thought Media Network, and you really do shine out your inner dazzle, inspiring others to do the same.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering, I'd love to know, where prayer fits in for you, for your life, and how you first discovered prayer and what that was.
It's good question. Yeah, I definitely had to ponder that a little bit. It was like, well, let me think back, back to my younger days. And it took me back actually to my childhood. And, long story short, I did learn about prayer probably as a child, I would think. My mom definitely did prayer. And I actually was thinking back, I'm like, the first time I experienced kind of a new thought prayer and that style was going to the Unity of Denver. So one of our sister churches, Unity, we got to experience prayer in that way. So I was probably about 11 or 12, I think, when we attended the Unity Church. So it was nice because I definitely got a totally new introduction to what prayer is, and definitely the different aspects of it, I guess. And it was interesting because as I learned that, new thought style prayer, as we call it, where it's more affirmative and coming from that place of knowing that we are connected to a higher power and that we're connected to that divine source, was great. And I think somehow that got instilled in me, even though I think my mom's prayer wasn't quite that style. The prayer that we had was more of the old school begging and pleading style, because she had come from a real traditional background. And so it came from definitely a different feeling, a different perspective. So, but it was interesting because it was more the feelings that I felt back then as a child. I couldn't really, I didn't really know how to explain it, I guess, in my mind. So it was different feelings that I got. But as I got older and I learned, and really stepped into new thought, it was like, oh my gosh, this feels right to me. This feels good to me. I experienced going to different churches. I learned, I went to a Baptist church with one of my girlfriends, with one of my little friends. And so I definitely had probably a pretty wide perspective of different styles of prayers. So, and then unfortunately, as I got older, my mom had cancer. And so in my family, we were dealing with that, and she passed when I was 18. So of course that had a profound shift in my life. And for a while, I kind of went into not really praying, I really just yelled at God mostly. I wasn't really in the prayer mode. It was more like, God, why did this happen? Why did you let this happen to me? So it's definitely been, a huge process, a learning process of what prayer is, and, how I can use it in my life. And so as my life unfolded, and as I began to step into working in a new thought environment, and found Mile High Church in Lakewood, Colorado, which definitely changed my life, changed my world, definitely, because I began to step into really seeing a different aspect, and really, really coming from that connection in my heart, and really feeling prayer and feeling that connection, and knowing that God is here for me, and that there is a higher power and I can connect to it. So it was kind of that journey, it's been a lifelong journey, really. But back in my younger days, I would say I definitely had some different ideas, and really unsure about what was prayer and what was God to me. It took a lot of soul searching and really asking yourself. So I always tell people that I work with, you got to ask yourself, well, what does God mean to you? And how does God work in your life? God or spirit, or whatever word you want to use, as far as, what that higher power is to you, universal presence, or some people, it might be Buddha, or, Jesus, or whoever you pray to. It's like, what does that mean to you, and how does it work in your life? That's the questions, I think, that I had to just keep asking myself over the years as I learned and grew and discovered who I was, and what does prayer mean to me. It was definitely a process. So,
wow. Yeah. There's so much that you've just said that I just want to have like an hour conversation with you about what happened with your mom, and to have that happen, and then you realize that there is another way to see the situation. That's what I'm feeling.
Yes.
That you then, so it's amazing, isn't it, how things that happen we think are happening to us, and we know they're happening for us.
Right.
Dare we step in and take the kind of the baton and say, I'm up for this challenge.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, like now you did that.
I did. Yeah. It's like, now I can look back in the last several years, probably as I got into the ministry and, really did a lot of deeper soul searching. It was like, oh, okay. Now I'm learning more about that there's a higher purpose, and that that divine orchestration is happening in and through our lives all the time. But we, when I was younger, I just didn't know it. I had no idea what it was, or, that it was working. And, so it's been a process of discovering that. It's like, okay, spirit is working in my life, and I can use prayer to guide me, to connect me, to ground me. I think that's definitely a big thing for me. Starting my day with prayer. You got to start your day. I mean, you got to start our day with some kind of grounding or connection. I feel like that's so important.
Yeah. And what I'm feeling is so amazing is because I know, many people know that you've written this beautiful book for children that was actually written by your daughter, and co-written by, or edited by you, and brought forward by you, and you wrote it together. And it's like that's full circle, where you're now saying to children, here's a prayer. You can go to sleep with this prayer.
Yes.
Explain about that, and how it came about, and why you feel that, that the power of that for children now to learn what you took a long time to learn.
Yes,
as we all did. As we all did.
Right. Then it's like, okay, now I'm a mom and oh my gosh, I want to teach my child, how to pray or how to be connected to a higher power, to a source. The thought was, well, if I can teach her this stuff now while she's a child, then hopefully she doesn't have to go through what I did as an adult, struggling and not having a connection and feeling lost and not feeling like there was anything out there per se, to help me or guide me after losing, my mother. So, yeah, so I would say definitely my children's book. I have to just show you the cover because it's so cute. It's 4 fabulous fairy tales and mindful mini meditations. So this little book, I'll put the title up here. This book really is, it's wonderful. We have lots of beautiful little stories. They're little mini fairy tales and some beautiful illustrations. My illustrator, she's actually in New Zealand. I found her and she's amazing. Oh my gosh. And it was great because I would just shared with her, a little bit about what I was doing. And she just wrote and drew these most amazing. This is actually my daughter in the first story. And so the little it's like a little fairy tale. And then it goes right into a mini meditation prayer. So that, like you said, the idea was to help my child fall asleep, my daughter fall asleep when she was like 4 and 5. It was like, as a mom, you want your children to go to bed and you want to get some sleep,
go to
bed so that I could have a moment to myself. Right. So that was the mission behind it. And it was like, okay, how can we read and learn some stories or create some stories that are, definitely help connect her to her higher self and the power that lives within her, connect to that even as a little child, because I believe that children already they know it because they're closer to that connection with God, connection to that higher power. Just when you're born, I believe, we start out having that connection. And then as we get older and we grow, I think that a lot of times we might not be reminded of it in our upbringing, unless you have somebody that's real spiritually based. And so then it's, as an adult, we have to bring ourselves back and remember that truth of what we know as we are, and when we're children, that we are born with that divine connection.
And how do you see that out picturing now with your daughter a few years on? How do you see, how is she evolved with this?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. She's 12, almost 13 now. So we're hitting a different curve in our journey. But I feel really blessed because she, I think in her own way, is able to, find that connection, and she's such a centered little person. I'm just really amazed at what she's done. But I felt like, for years, of course, my mission was to instill these principles, just about God. And then like a lot of the fairy tales talk about self-love. So the first story is about self-love. And then the second story is about unconditional love and how we have that unconditional love for ourselves and others, and then the third story is about compassion. So I've taught her about being to be a compassionate person, which she is. She's wonderful. She just started school, and of course she signed up to she's 8th grade, so she signed up to assist the 6th graders coming in to school. So I was so proud of her that she did that all on her own. I didn't influence it at all, but she's like, hey mom, I signed up to help the 6th graders come in, because I remember being a 6th grader and didn't know what the heck was going on. And
so beautiful.
It's just seeing these things, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of her, that she's taking these beautiful qualities and expressing them.
And what I really love is that it's so childlike, isn't it? I mean, adults can read your book as well. And I know this isn't a whole show about your book, but it's kind of like, it's important because we need to get the message from a childlike perspective.
For sure.
And that's what you've done. You've brought this piece of work forwards for children and for the adults that might be reading it to them at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So powerful. Let's see it again one more time.
There it is. One more time.
This
is beautiful.
Amazing.
And, all the qualities are qualities that we also need to embrace as adults. Self-love for sure. And compassionate love. confidence, and then kindness is the fourth story. So definitely, I invite you to pick one of these up. You can certainly do it on Amazon, or you can, message me through my Facebook. I'll pop that up real quick. My Facebook page. You can also connect with me if you wanted a signed copy. But anyway, yeah, so that's that. But it's definitely been a beautiful process, and I'm just so excited to share it with the world now.
Can you imagine if when we were growing up, we had these tools that children have now in this way? I'm 57, and it's like there was none of this around when I was 3 or 4.
No, we did not have any of this kind of stuff.
So children are really being propelled, aren't they, now? Yeah. Yeah, it's really powerful.
Part of our mission is to really, empower them, because we're in a new, a whole new world, really, with everything going on. And it's like, oh my gosh. Oh, wow. This is great. Look at that.
There it is. Thank you, Diego. I want to just mention Diego is producing our show today. And as usual, and we have Charmaine in the background here also learning. So it's wonderful to have these amazing spirit souls guiding the cosmic prayer. And this is, there we go. There's your Amazon link straight to your book. I love it.
Thank you. That's fabulous.
So tell me, because I know that this is a really important part and piece of who you are, but it's not all of who you are.
Right.
Because as a reverend, you must, come across many people that maybe don't understand for themselves what prayer is, and then there you are, and especially because you marry people as well, which is a blessing in itself. To unite people together. And how do you inspire others to pray?
That's a good question.
Use prayer.
Yeah, I think it takes me back to my childhood, but I always like to approach it in a really, really simple way, and also include the idea that, just that inspirational thought of that there is, I believe, a higher power. There is that divine connection that does help us and guide us in our lives. And that if we can just take the time to tap into that energy, it really can lead us forward in our lives and make life easier. I always tell people, hey, a little prayer in the morning, it can only make your day better. Right. And then I have a lot of people, I get a lot of prayer requests, a lot of my clients and even a lot of my friends, just friends, they'll be like, hey, we know you're a minister. Can you pray? And I'm like, sure. And then I always invite them. I'm like, well, you can pray too, because you have the same power that I have. And they're like, no, you have a better connection. And I'm like, no, we all have, we have the same connection, and so I end up doing like a little spiel, and I'm like, no, you have the same divine connection that I have. We're all children of God. We all have that, have that love and that wisdom and that connection to that higher power. So we can use it to have a productive day, a happy day, whatever it is you need more of in your life. So I just describe that and find out.
Thank you for bringing that forwards, because I think we need to bust this belief that some people have this connection and some people don't, or some people have more of it than others. That is such a fallacy, isn't it? Because there is one thing happening, and it's happening everywhere. And it's up to us to tap into it, or to unravel it and be it.
Yes. Yeah. Like I said, it's all the same. I had a dad come up to me one time after a wedding ceremony, and he's like, well, thank you for that. I'm sure glad you have that. What did he say? Something like, that in with God or whatever, because we were praying for the weather. I had been doing some prayer and some science of mind treatment about our weather and having, making sure our weather was good for the ceremony. And it was great. And so, and I just thought that was funny. I just kind of giggled and I said, oh, we all have that same power, that same connection. So I think that's important for everybody to realize, is that you have the power. We have the power. We all have that same connection with that divine source that lives within us. And it is
that where your inner dazzle kind of
yes.
Tell us more about that.
That's for sure the inner dazzle. And of course that has evolved as well, and definitely came from, and there's my show. Come visit.
We're on the Media Network on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. There we go, Mountain Time.
Yes. So what I like to
That's
do.
8 p.m. if anyone's in the UK.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. For you evening for our time change. But yeah, I think the inner dazzle it is about discovering that. I always say it's that innermost part of you that is connected to the divine source that lives within us. It's that innermost part that knows how to do, what to do, and when to do. Because when we are able to connect to that higher source, that inner source, and tap into that within us, it will guide us, it will lead us, it will give us the clues and the inspiration that we need to make a next step in our life. It helps with, if we need to make a decision about something going on in our life, or if we're having a challenge in our life. It's about really connecting and finding and realizing that you have that inner dazzle, that inner source within you that you can tap into at any time. That's the magical part, is that we have this source within us and that we can use it at any time to tap in and help guide us, help lead us forward with any situation, any challenges that we might be having. So it's really, really powerful to realize that. And I think as we realize that, then, good things happen.
Sorry, I'm on mute. Then our worlds transform, don't they, when we realize that? Because we realize we don't have to live by this default program.
Exactly.
We think is the only thing happening.
And it doesn't have to be God, please, like we say in New Thought. And so with New Thought, we say we don't do old begging and pleading. We know and recognize that we are connected to that higher source. So we can come from a perspective of trusting and using our faith and saying, okay, God, or hey, higher spirit, or Buddha, or whoever you pray to, guide me and support me on this journey that I'm on.
So how do we navigate this with all of the disasters and the things that are happening right now on our planet in so many different ways, in so many different countries and continents, for so many people?
Yeah. Yes.
And there is this, it takes a leap of faith, doesn't it, to leap into prayer and to actually hold on to that, knowing that this too is all God expressing.
This too shall pass, as
this too shall pass.
The old term goes, but I feel like it's applicable, and it's and not to dismiss any kind of situations or anything going on in the world. And it really is, I think for me, it's a question of, okay, well, with all these challenges that are going on in the world, especially with what we've had to deal with the last couple of years with COVID and everything, and all the death and loss and just such devastating challenges in the world. That is the time. And I believe that's God or Spirit's way of saying, hey, it's time to anchor in. It's time to anchor into the faith and the truth that we know to be, at the heart of hearts, and say, okay, I'm going to trust and I'm going to allow this to unfold, knowing that higher power is taking care of us and is supporting us and is guiding us through these challenges, and that we're not alone, and that we have each other. And that's, I believe, how God works, is through each other. We have each other. We have, all of us out there, all of you out there, we have each other. And I think that's what God's mission is about creating that connection and knowing that we can get through these things together. We're not alone, and we can use the power of prayer and the power of connection to get through it.
Wow, I love what you've just said, because I think that we need to know that comfort for ourselves, don't we?
Yeah.
And know that we're not alone. It's because it can feel lonely. We can feel isolated and cut off from people. Even now we're reintegrating back and we're getting unlocked. But everywhere around the world, it's all up and down. Different countries, different things going on with rules and laws about COVID, and it's like a whole realignment, isn't it?
Oh, totally. Yeah. So I feel like this is the opportunity. It's like, okay, well, now's my chance. Just anchor in with some prayer and join a prayer circle. Join, our groups, all the wonderful prayer things that we have going on New Thought Media Network.
There we go.
Guidance and connection.
thank you for sharing that, because we do have an amazing prayer team. We're on the prayer team, and
Yes.
others. I mean, there are other incredible practitioners and ministers on this prayer team who know the truth and hold that. I've got a lead coming out of my ear.
Uh-oh.
It's a bit weird, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. That's okay. Okay.
It's my headphones. It's okay.
It kind of blends in with the parts in the
I'm just
background.
plugged into the wall.
Oh,
sorry, that was just really. Anyway, getting back to that prayer team, yes. For anybody that's watching right now, you're on New Thought Media Network, and this is the Cosmic Prayer, and we are joined today by our super guest, Reverend Lisa Williams, who also has incredible shows here on New Thought Media Network, Inner Dazzel. And Reverend Lisa is a marriage officiant. She's married so many people. We're going to get to talk about this in a moment.
16 years.
16 years of bringing hearts together.
Yes.
And families together. And,
yes.
And also you are a reverend and a practitioner and an author and a motivational speaker. And you do so many beautiful things. It's wonderful to feel your energy and your consciousness, and this I love it because you're doing different things and they're all connected, and it's like this one flow of creativity that's coming through you. And do you believe that for you prayer has really informed your business and your work life, and how you weave all of these things together?
Oh, yes. And that's something I have to, and that's what I do every day. Okay, Spirit, guide me and lead me where how I can serve and where I need to be and how I need to be, of service, and taking it all in, and taking time also to connect and nurture myself, which is always important, that we don't forget that. And prayer is necessary, I believe, for us nowadays, especially. So as life unfolds, we just take the time to prayer, reconnect. And I do it throughout the day, even, it doesn't have to be like a once, just on Sunday, or whatever it is. It's like, no, we can pray every day, all day. Some days I have several prayers that get me through the day, because sometimes some days are not always great. Some days are challenging. Some days we have a lot of things going on, and it can be hard. So it's not about that everything's cheerful and happy and, we're just, yay, we're all happy all the time. That's not reality. We have challenging times, but I believe that prayer anchors me and reminds me of the truth. It's like, okay, if I can be reminded, I get back in my center, and then I can move forward in my day, knowing that divine intelligence is working through my life, bringing about, all the wonderful things that I need to know and that I need to do.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So how does this, you marry people, and I love this. I love it that you bring people, well, you're that kind of that holding link of containing the whole, creating the vessel for people to say, I'm making this deeper commitment to you.
Yes.
And I know that you, as a New Thought and Science of Mind Reverend, you're marrying people from a spiritual perspective rather than from a religious perspective.
Right.
So people are coming together with their different views, their different beliefs about religion and spirituality, and you're saying that doesn't matter, because all that matters here is the love you have for each other.
Yes. And it's great because I combine, a lot of times I have couples that come from different background, faith backgrounds, Buddhist and Catholic and Irish and, all these different things. But it's great because it is about celebrating all traditions, and we're able to honor that in many ways. Sometimes it's a prayer or it's a ritual, and it's great because it's about really integrating and honoring all faith backgrounds, and that way we can honor each person and bring them together and usher them in as a couple. And it's just such a sacred time, and it's just about honoring them as a couple and honoring the love that they have, like you said. And that's the focus, and I really enjoy it and have lots of fun and lots of joy and lots of celebration and sacredness as well. So it's really fun.
Yeah. And do they keep in touch with you? I mean, 16
Oh,
years.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's so wonderful. And I have, a lot of my couples are having babies. So I get to do baby blessings. And oh my gosh,
Okay.
it's
Oh, beautiful.
just goosebumps. I just love it. They'll call me, or message me, or I see a lot of them on Facebook. We stay connected on Facebook. And so, yeah, it's great. Like, it's that circle of life, and it's just wonderful to celebrate with their love. And then, bringing a precious little baby into the world is another beautiful expression, and I love to be
Beautiful.
part of that, blessing the baby into the world. So
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
great.
Oh, Reverend Lisa, this is amazing. For anybody that's watching right now, you're on New Thought Media Network. This is Reverend Lisa Williams, and we're sharing Reverend Lisa's understanding and joy of prayer and how prayer affects you and your life. And I'm just interested if there was ever a time that you felt kind of like, I know you told the story, and thank you for sharing that intimate story, or of what happened for you with your mom. And has there been another time, or maybe that was the time, when there was kind of like you realized that prayer, knowing it's spiritual mind treatment, or your way of praying, which isn't begging and beseeching, but it's knowing, where you've just really turned something around and demonstrated something incredible, where a demonstration has
Gosh,
just
there's so many, I'm like, let's see, where do I start?
something juicy.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, there's just some wonderful, amazing things that come about just from that. Gosh, I don't even know where to start. Let's see, what should I talk about? Goodness, which thing? Well, I guess one of the biggest blessings was my daughter being born, so I could share just a little bit about that. So I actually got married later in life, and so was at an age, in my late 30s, early 40s, and trying to get pregnant, was challenging. It took like 3 years, and took a lot of faith in the holistic team. We went through all the rigmarole with all the different, Western medicine, and then it kind of came around, and I ended up working with some holistic practitioners and was able to conceive from that perspective. But that took a lot of prayer and a lot of faith, because, oh my goodness, I just knew in my heart of hearts, I knew I think I knew as a teenager that I was for sure meant to have a child. I wanted to be a mom. I just really wanted to be a mom. And I felt that, I think as I got older, and after losing my mom at an early age, it just felt like a mission, that there was something that needed to come through me, that creativity and expressing and experiencing being a mom. So I think it took a lot of prayer and a lot of faith, and reaffirming that faith in order to know that, spirit was working in my life, though I didn't see it at times, and thinking, oh my gosh, I know I'm meant to have a baby, and I know that this is a part of my path, and really staying anchored in that, and just trusting spirit and trusting my path. And then it was, divine orchestration led me to somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody, and then connected me with these holistic practitioners. And oh my goodness, was able to do wonderful herbs and all kinds of stuff, and taking better care of myself, and different eating, and everything. But it was wonderful, because it was a growing experience for me, which I didn't expect. You never expect that, when here I was, just my mission was to be a mom and have a baby, and then all these other great blessings came forth
along with it,
learning about myself, learning about my body, learning how to be in tune with myself, deeper connection with God, more prayer, really anchoring my faith back, my faith tradition, and saying, okay, I'm going to trust spirit, and know that this is unfolding just how it's meant to be. And then the whole idea that we talk about a lot in New Thought is we go through the steps. We have actual steps that we use, which we don't have to go into, but it's
we're gonna have a prayer in a minute, and you can guide us through
good.
those.
Yeah, anchoring that prayer, and then releasing. So when I finally really trusted and really said, okay, God, I am going to let this go and put it in your hands, and know that the right time, right place, in whatever, however it's supposed to manifest, whether I actually birth the child or, whatever the thing is going to be for me to be a mom. Let it go, and let God is my saying. And then as soon as I finally energetically let it go, I actually, and it was 9 months later of working with this holistic practitioner. 9 months
9
later,
months.
9 months later, I got
A
pregnant.
pregnancy term,
I
9 months.
conceived. Yes, and I was
So
like,
you had to go through two pregnancies.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was like I
Yeah.
think it was a spiritual birth of my
The
own,
rebirth.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah, wow, isn't that
yeah.
amazing?
So
I love hearing things like this.
yeah.
It's
So
like
I had my daughter.
you had
at
to
42.
rebirth yourself.
Yes.
42.
42, I had her. So I'm like,
And I love what you're saying, because it's so true. When we pray for something and we know what we want, we know what the desire is, and yet we have to grow into that, don't we?
Yes.
And then all these other things come along with it at the same time. It's like, oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been praying for that all along also. It's like 15 buses come at once.
Yep, that's it. You got it.
Yeah,
So,
I love it.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Well, there's an incredible happening, for anyone that may be thinking prayer isn't for me. It is.
It works. It works. It works.
Beautiful. And I come from a family of, I wasn't ever, prayer was not part of my childhood. And, so it takes a learning, I think, and a willingness to actually really step back and do things the other way around, rather than always trying to manipulate the effect and go outside and run around trying to make it happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. To go in and trust. And that trust you must have had in that 9 months preparing.
Yes. It definitely deepened it, and, just brought my faith and to a whole deeper level. So I'm so grateful for that. Now I can look back and say, oh, okay, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit.
Yeah, and remembering these things when they happen, so that when we are in any kind of not believing or not having that faith, we can remember, oh, wow, that happened. And so this is my new foundation, my new kind of set point now, what I can do.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Incredible. You ignited your inner dazzle.
Yes. Yeah.
So, Reverend Lisa, I always invite guests to share a prayer here on the Cosmic Prayer. Why not?
Sure. Yeah,
we're
here.
Yeah.
Sure, you bet.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do a prayer.
Would you like us to do it together, or do you want to do it on your own? It's totally up to you.
Let's do it together. We can do,
Yeah.
Do you want me to start, and I'll just hand it
Whichever
over?
Whichever way round you like.
Or you can start and hand it over.
I'll start. And then
you start.
What should we pray on? What's in your heart?
Oh gosh.
What do you feel for right now?
I'm just feeling prayer for the world. Like again, we have so many challenging things still going on, which I know we always do, but it just feels necessary. I think prayer for the world and everything that's going on is just to reach out and bless everyone.
Absolutely. Let's do this.
Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful. So as we close our eyes together here now, and let's take a breath with me and Reverend Lisa and anyone that's watching right now live or later on. This is a dynamic prayer. This is our word together, woven together for the knowing of harmony and peace and a deeper faith and conviction in that faith for every sentient being on this planet. Because I know that there is one thing happening right now. This is the power and the presence of the divine, of God. Whatever it is we choose to call this, I know this is this essence, this ineffable essence that actually is nameless. And yet it is. It is here as it always has been and it always will be. And this infinite intelligence of what it is running through everything right now. Everything. And I know that as I open up to knowing the I am that I am, that this presence is running in as and through me. And I'm expressing myself right now as my uniqueness. And so I open to a greater experience of this divine. This is what I do right now, to unite a greater knowing of who I truly am. And I know that as this is for me, that this is for Reverend Lisa. That this is for everybody watching right now. This is for everybody in our communities, in our countries, on our planet, and beyond into the multiverses. That there is this knowing of peace that is the truth of God. This knowing of harmony that is the truth of God. And that this expression that is happening right now is love, even though we may not see it as love or feel it as love, that love is always, always, always here. So with this knowing, I hand this over to the heart of Reverend Lisa.
And just as we continue to stay in this space of love, we feel that divine connection deep within our hearts. We place our hands on our hearts and just feel that presence of love, presence of God, that presence of that universal intelligence that operates in and through and around us. Knowing that that divine love blesses each and every person that we come in contact with right here on the show. And as we move about our day, we just know that that divine love that comes from our hearts, we feel it. We feel that inner presence, that inner dazzle. And we allow that light to shine and bring its beauty and love and light to the world. We just send our love and our blessings out into the universe, blessing every situation that's going on in the world, all the challenges. We just know that that divine love and that divine presence operates in and through every single person, every situation. We always bring it back to that divine presence of love, that presence of God, that essence, that omnipresence that is operating in our universe for our highest good, whether we are aware of it or not. We just deepen in our hearts and our souls, feeling that connection, trusting and having faith. We just bring it back to love and faith and knowing that that divine intelligence is working for our highest good right here, right now. And we allow that to move forward in and through our day, blessing everyone we come into contact with, maybe even with a smile, knowing that that is the way that we serve the world, by sharing our love and our light, blessing every single thing, every single person we come in contact with. We send that love and blessings out into the world, and we know and recognize that that universal intelligence is working and blessing each one of us right here, right now. So with a grateful, grateful heart, we can release these words into the universe, knowing that they are in the hands of God. They are in the hands of this universal presence. And we are blessed, and together we affirm, and so it is.
It is so. So it is. So it is.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Reverend Lisa. Whew.
Yes.
I felt that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
it too. I love that. That's why I was, my hands on my heart. You could just
Beautiful.
feel the energy. Yeah. Yes. Powerful,
Thank you.
powerful minds. We work together, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you from my heart for being here today and for bringing your inner dazzle. I'm catching your inner dazzle right now. I can feel it. Thank you.
Coming your way.
It's kind of sparkling out from you everywhere. And it's reaching me, and I'm sure it's reaching everybody that's tuned in here. And somebody's just put a thumbs up, a Facebook user, don't know their name, but hello, hi. Great to be with you on the Cosmic Prayer. And so it is. There we go.
Nice. We love it.
Yeah, we do. And you
Beautiful.
are here. If you're watching now, then this is Reverend Lisa Williams. And Reverend Lisa has her own show here, The Inner Dazzle, and does many, many amazing things as a reverend and a marriage officiant and a transformational speaker, and with her own coaching business. And you can reach out. Where can we find you? Oh, it's Prince. Hi, Prince.
All right. Nice.
Where can we find you, Reverend Lisa? What are your contact details for anyone?
Goodness, so
anyone that wants to get married?
Yes, you can
Come
definitely. I travel. I love weddings.
Yeah.
I'll go wherever. I've gone to Mexico and some other different places. I love to do that. So yeah, you can connect with me on my Inner Dazzle page at Facebook, and then go to Spiritual Resource, and it'll connect you right there. You're also welcome to send me an email. Certainly connect with me through email. Sometimes that's easier. Lisa@innerdazzle.com. And also you definitely, my book is available. You can find me on my YouTube channel. You can subscribe there. And I have all these beautiful prayers that we record. So I have lots of prayers. I have 1 minute pause that we do. It's a little mini meditation. We have the children's book. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Just all kinds of stuff.
You're busy. So many beautiful things.
Yeah.
I love it.
So yeah.
Oh,
thank you.
fantastic.
So much.
Well, thank you so much. And I know you're going to come back again and kind of re-dazzle the Cosmic Prayer. You're welcome.
Of course.
Anytime.
Okay. I'd love to. I love hanging out with you, Laura. You're great.
Yeah, it's great.
Great.
And thank you for anybody that's watching right now. You're on New Thought Media Network. This is an incredible ministry and platform, broadcasting platform, bringing you so many incredible shows and teachings and educations on New Thought and Science of Mind, and how we use these practices to really transform our lives.
Yes.
So keep tuned in here. Stay tuned in to the New Thought Media Network. And like our YouTube channel and our Facebook page here. There we go. I love Dazzle and Bling. Perfect. You're in the right place.
Thanks. Wonderful.
And if this has really moved you and touched your heart, and you really are just yearning to support this ministry and New Thought Media Network, then you can. Yes. Here's the news. You can. There's the link, and there's a donate link downstairs, down below, where you can just click on it, and pour your love offering in, because it's all about the reciprocal process and being part of that, circulating the love in all the ways that we can, showing that we really are a part, and having that faith. To say, I'm gonna transmit some finances here to keep the energy and the flow of this whole thing going. So we are reciprocity.
Yes.
And we're so grateful for that. Yeah, we're so grateful.
It works.
Until next time, thank you again, Reverend Lisa Williams.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye to everyone.
All right. Take care for now. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Cosmic Prayer, your weekly shift with Laura Topper on the New Thought Media Network. If you've enjoyed this programming, please tell a friend and join us again next week for Cosmic Prayer, your weekly shift with Laura Topper.